Hi everyone, how are you? Allow me to take this opportunity to thank all of you, dear parents, for being part of this virtual parents orientation. That despite your busy schedule, still you find time to be part of this. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you. Ayan, so let's go down to business. First question is, why do we have to have this virtual parents orientation? So first, this is our way of informing you of the changes that we've been executing since last year. So number one, instead of using the usual face-to-face learning, we are using online distance learning, using different online platforms, apps, and Google extensions as our main avenue of teaching and learning. Using learning packets, number two, including online resources instead of the usual textbooks as our main reference. Number three, use of learning management system to organize teachers' materials, to post and receive activities from the students, to communicate with them, and to conduct our online classes. Number four, use of online assessment and project-based learning instead of the usual pencil and paper to evaluate learners' mastery of concepts. Number five, of course, strict implementation of physical distancing measures and use of face mask and face shield for protection. Number six, class schedules where two groups of subjects will be taken per semester. Number seven, use of MELCs or the most essential learning competencies under the banner of the K-12 curriculum. And number eight, the SPCC Learning Continuity Plan. So later, we'll also cover our expectations from our students and you as the parents or guardians to make all these plans a success. So what is SPCC's Learning Continuity Plan? So the SPCC Learning Continuity Plan or program is a program that focuses on SPCC's response to COVID-19 and developing programs that guarantee seamless integration of technology in educating learners amidst the crisis and breaking down the barriers of the traditional school day so it can personalize learning for every student. Also, its commitment is to ensure health, safety, and well-being of the SPCNian community in the time of COVID-19. So let me give you an overview of what we'll be discussing this morning. So first, we'll be covering the alternative delivery mode of learning of the junior high school department. Second is the school calendar. Third is school curriculum. Four, class size and clustering. Five, sample class schedule. Six, the academic policy of the junior high school department. For the second part, we'll be discussing Google Classroom as the learning management system of of the junior high school department. We will be showcasing the daily class flow, ODL as our chosen modality. We'll be presenting sample videos and sample activity sheets. For the third part, we'll be discussing cyber wellness, students' responsibilities, parents' responsibilities, Google Classroom 101 or in a nutshell. And then if you have some questions after the presentation, we'll be more than willing to accommodate them. For the fourth part, we'll be presenting frequently asked questions on school primer, on online distance learning, cyber wellness, and others. So let's have the first part. So for this coming school year, the junior high school department will again be using the online distance learning. So what is online distance learning or ODL? So ODL is a method of teaching and learning that is done through the internet. So using LMS like Google Classroom as its online platform. The communication between teacher and students is primarily done online. To make sure that our students will have satisfying and enjoyable remote learning experience, we'll be recommending you and our students to download the following apps and Google extensions. So these are some of the apps that we'll be using. Google Classroom, of course, if you have a mobile phone, please download the following. So Google Classroom, Google Meet, Quizzes, Canva, Jamboard, Google Forms, Google Slides, Google Sheet, Flipgrid, Kahoot, Padlet, Nearpod, and Nucella, among others. So we believe in using technology to redefine what is possible to be done in a remote classroom and promote creativity and higher order thinking skills. Also, yung universal design for learning stimulates interest, present information in different ways, differentiate how students express what they know. So we believe that students learn best when they are provided with the right tools and guidance to analyze, evaluate, collaborate, and create. Okay, what about the school calendar? So, school opening date is on August 16, 2021. School ending date is on April 29, 2022. So the teachers in service training has started last August 2, 2021. The academic quarters usually have 9 to 10 weeks, wherein the summative exams are given every last week of the academic quarters. For the school calendar, the extracurricular activities will be conducted virtually. And the end of school year rights is in May 2022. Okay, as presented a while ago, we'll be using the most essential learning competencies or MELCs as our primary reference in determining and implementing learning delivery approaches that are suited to SPCCN context and the diverse type of learners that we have while adapting to the challenges caused by COVID-19. So the release of MELCs is DepEd's response not just to the current pandemic but also to the call to develop a resilient education system. So according to DepEd, essential learning competencies are defined as what the students need, considered indispensable in the teaching learning process, in building skills to equip learners for subsequent grade levels, and subsequently for lifelong learning. So using the K-12 curriculum as its premise, DepEd only chose those competencies that are needed in building foundational skills and included them in MELCs. For class size and clustering, two sections for junior high school department is allotted per class level. Next are the sample class schedules. Because this pandemic requires school to come up with new modalities or new ways of teaching our students, we tailored our class schedules to suit the needs of our junior high school students. So for our department, the first 5 subjects will be offered during the first semester, while the remaining 4 subjects will be offered during the second semester. Only one subject will be covered the whole day. This move aims to ease the students' burden of learning so many subjects in one day and yet not compromising the quality. A subject meeting is composed of synchronous and asynchronous sessions and consultation meetings with the subject teacher at the end of the day with health breaks in between. So let's move to the second part. What do we mean by learning management system or LMS? So a learning management system is a web-based system that helps you automate students' learning. So what can we do with an LMS? With an LMS, you can gather all your learning materials in one place and make them available to all learners in just one click. You can create different groups of learners according to their recent scores or readiness skills. You can assign to them different activities or tests or a whole series of materials called a learning path. Now, it depends with their learning curve. So with LMS, you can easily track each learner's progress to monitor their performance and to encourage them to make them develop faster. So for this school year, we'll be using again Google Classroom as our online platform because it's free and it is user friendly. So this platform will be used to organize activities through class calendar, schedule quizzes and exams, deliver each lesson by posting slide presentations and links, document students' progress, and track their performance. Students can work with some of their activities offline if these activities are done using Google Docs, Google Forms, Google Slides, and spreadsheets. Now, what about the daily class flow? So, as I have mentioned a while ago, these are the daily lineup of activities. So we usually start the day with the daily routine and activities. So under this, we have the flag ceremony, prayer, recitation of Panatang Makabayan, singing of SPCC hymn, community singing. We also include spiritual activities and wellness check. Now, next is the synchronous activities. So these are activities that are teacher facilitated. So this require all the participants to be uh, virtually present at the same time. So activities are scheduled and this is done in virtual classrooms using web conferencing technology and interactive shared whiteboards. So next is health break for 30 minutes. And then for asynchronous activities, these are self-directed and self-paced. They do not require all the participants to be virtually present at the same time. So lessons are pre-recorded and interaction is done through email or message boards, discussion forum, group chat, and streams. So since this is self-paced, students often attend lessons on their own and allow choice. 4 times students can work through lessons and tasks. So we also use health breaks in between sessions to remind the teachers and the students to rest their eyes and to eat healthy food every after 2 hours. So lastly, we have the consultation period to give students time to clarify concepts or topics that they might find difficult, and this will also give the teachers time to follow up their students. So we believe that all this are possible with your support. Now, what about the academic policy? The academic policy of Systems Plus Computer College Junior High School Department aims to assess students' strengths and weaknesses, evaluate students' performance. It also monitors students' progress. It gives immediate feedback if remediation is needed. And it recognizes students who have commendable performance. So for the academic policy, will be covering the grading system, learning packets, class schedule, policy on promotion, retention, and non-readmission, criteria for determining the honor student awardees, and available scholarships. So for the first part, let's discuss the grading system. grade range. For the first semester and second semester, the lowest possible grade that a student can receive is 60, while the highest possible grade is 100. To get a passing grade of 75%, a student should obtain 60% of the items correctly. So if the test has 20 items, the student has to get 12. If it has 30, the student has to get 18 to pass. And if it has 50, the student has to get at least 30. So what are the different grading components? So we have the written work, performance tasks, and quarterly examination. Subjects are grouped according to the weight they allotted for each component. Example, English, Filipino, Araling Panlipunan, and ESP allotted 30% for written work, 50% for performance tasks, and 20% for summative exam. For the second group, we have science and math, which gave 40% to written work, 40% for performance tasks, and the remaining 20% for the summative exam. While MAPE, PLE, and computer gave 20% for the written work and summative exams, and 60% for the performance task for a total of 100%. So the grading components are made up of the following activities. So we consider online worksheets, exit tickets, evaluation form, quizzes, interactive activities, and essays as examples of written work, while projects, experiments, practical exam, video presentation, hands-on, research, and e-portfolio as examples of performance tasks. For the summative test, we have long test and quarterly exams. We use averaging scheme to get the final grade. So say for example, for the first semester, you're offered the four subjects, English, Math, PLE, and ESP, wherein for the following terms, he or the student got 91 during the first and second terms, and for the third and fourth terms, 92, if you will get the sum of all these grades and then divided by 4, the average grade is 92. So the same applies to the remaining subjects. For the learning packets, so what are learning packets? Learning packets are all the materials that can be found inside the Google Classroom. So this include the weekly curriculum map, slide presentations, pre-recorded videos, online activities and worksheets, recorded session, and others. So this is an example of a Google Classroom. So this was my Google Classroom last year, and all learning packets can be found in Classwork. So if you will click this, it will lead you to all the activities grouped into weeks. So if you will observe, we have two icons here. This one are all the materials that are posted inside the classroom, and this one are the activities that the students need to answer and need to submit at the end of each week. For the third part, we have the class schedule. So as mentioned a while ago, that we have two groups of subjects for grades 7 and 9 during the first semester. Grade 7 and 9 students will be taking English, Math, PLE, and ESP, and the remaining 5 subjects, Filipino, Science, Computer, MAPE, and Araling Panlipunan will be offered during the second semester. For grades 8 and 10, they will have the Filipino, Science, Computer, MAPE, and Araling Panlipunan during the first semester, while the remaining 4 subjects, English, Math, PLE, and ESP, will be offered during the second semester. Next, what is SPCC's policy on promotion, retention, and non-readmittance? So to be promoted, a student must at least obtain a general average of 75%. So students whose proficiency level is 74% and below at the end of the quarter or grading period shall be required to undergo remediation after class hours. If by the end of the school year the learners are still at the 74% level, they shall be required to take remedial classes. A student whose general average is passing but fails in one basic subject like English or math or science or computer shall take remedial class before being promoted. Now, what about the school's policy on retention? A student whose general average is passing but fails in two or more basic subjects shall be retained in the grade level. A student with a failing general average shall be retained. Now, what about the school's policy on non-readmittance? A student who fails the same grade level twice will not be readmitted. A student who gets a failing grade in conduct due to habitual misbehaviors, even if he passes the academics, shall likewise be denied readmission. A student who fails in both academics and school conduct will also not be readmitted. A student who filed any complaint or legal case to an outside agency against any member of the school, thereby sacrificing the smooth and harmonious relationship existing between the school community and the parents, shall not be readmitted. For the fifth part, what about the issuance of report card? So report cards of students are issued to parents or guardians through email. So parents need to consult with subject teachers if their child has a failing remark. For the sixth part, what about honors and available scholarship? For the academic awards, with honors is given to those students who got a final average of 90 to 94 per quarter, with high honors if they got 95 to 98, and with highest honors if they got 98 to 100. The special awards that are given during moving up ceremony are the following: Model Student of the Year, Leadership Award, Best in Work Habits, Best in School Uniform, Best in Deportment, and Perfect Attendance. These awards are also given every end of the school year. Other awards that are given to grade 10 students, we have Best in a Specific Discipline, Performing Artists, Creative Artists, IT, Multimedia, and CAT Award. Available scholarships. So at the end of the school year, all students per level are ranked accordingly. So whoever will rank first will get 100% off on his or her tuition, 75% off for rank 2, 50% off for rank 3, 30% off for rank 4, and 20% off for rank 5. So again, we believe na all these things are possible with your support. So thank you for listening and have a great day ahead.